My question for all four of you is, of course, this is a series that has legions of fans, so many devoted fans for many, many years. How do you think this series will be able to make fans of the original happy? But also, how do you think it will appeal to people who may not even have seen the original series? There may be people who have, this will be their first entry into the Avatar: The Last Airbender world. How do you think this series will be able to appeal to both fans and non-fans alike?
Uh,
I mean, sure. I think for fans of the original series, it it still is the same world and the same universe, and like all these characters are the same breath, you know. And I feel like that was something that was really important with the creation of this live action adaptation. And for the new fans, I hope that with our show, it's it's like a good way to be introduced to this universe, and then also like to get them interested in watching the original, you know?
I think our show fills in a few plot holes that might be in the animated series as well. Albert can make sure to do a good job of making sure everything connected in our story, which was great. But for new fans, I'd have to say just introducing them into the world of Avatar in real life, you know? I think like in 2005 when they were making the animation, technology was quite limited. So like you can tell that there's a major difference between season 1 and season 3.
Yeah, like
and I
a
think
big
our
one.
show just like starts off really strong.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I was thinking about how these seasons of the animated series were so long. They were like 20 episodes, and then being able to condense them to a season of essentially hour-long episodes is a huge task. But somehow beats remain the same, but new beats are added as well. I think that's super, super fun. Also, I'd love to know what was some of the stunt? Did you all do some of your own stunts as far as like I know there's a lot of CGI, of course, but the air bending and especially and the water bending and all the bending looks so cool. What was that experience like? And what are you excited for fans to see about that transition as far as that going from animated to live action? And it looks very, very good too.
Well, actually, we all did like 99.9% of our stunts. I think there's only like one or two that we didn't do. But I think what's really excited about bringing it to life is we're gonna see real fire bending with real people. We're gonna see real water bending, which is probably one of the hardest ones to edit. Real air bending, which I didn't even know what they're gonna do in the beginning. Like if they're just gonna like make sand move, if they're gonna make like dust or like little air streaks, and real earth bending. I feel like that's just gonna make it really awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's something that we've all been like anticipating and waiting for, is like being able to like see these things in actual real life, and to see it come out as well as it did is like exceeded expectations, and is super exciting like as a fan too, to like finally be able to like actually see. It's so like satisfying, you know?
And we're gonna have like so many kids watching this, so they're gonna go home and they're gonna be like, oh, and be like, no, why didn't the rock come up? Like we're gonna inspire a bunch of kids to just try and bend.
Fire Lord Ozai is a character where it feels like this season kind of sets the stage for what we can see him do. Like we see him in action a little bit. He's also like this looming figure. We feel we've only scratched the surface of what he's capable of. So how would you describe his presence in this season, as well as his interesting, so to speak, parenting style with Azula and Zuko?
I'm glad you put it that way, because that's what I say too. Like he's got a parenting style that wouldn't necessarily choose, but it is a style. Um, I would use your words too. I would call him a looming presence in season 1. And like any good big bad, you set him up in the beginning, and then let the others talk about him. Let the others do his bidding until the final fight. And so I think the writers did a really nice job of setting up that structure.
Yes, absolutely. And Paul, for you, Iroh is one of the most, I would say, like complex and beloved characters in the original series. How would you describe the relationship between Zuko and his uncle in this first season? Because I think even moments of this this live action iteration kind of expands upon the lore of what we know of their relationship. We kind of get to see that in a deeper and more sentimental sense, so to speak. So how would you describe their relationship this season?
Have you got a plan yet?
The plan is to go in and capture the Avatar once and for all.
So no plan.
I'm working on it, Uncle.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is. I mean, it is one that is. We explore the themes of loss so much more in this. Everybody has lost somebody, and in Iroh's case, he's lost his son, Lieutenant, who, honestly, that was such a devastating loss for him that he sort of changes his course, his trajectory. He was supposed to be the next Fire Lord. He immediately abandons the siege of Ba Sing Se, is branded a coward, goes off, is disgraced, loses his position, but in the end, he sees the kindness, the compassion in Zuko, and he sees what's more important. And Iroh would give anything to have his son back, but he's not there, so he sees Zuko, and Zuko, for lack of a better term, is kind of fatherless in that way. And so he's sort of a surrogate son. They sort of band together. He follows him. He's there to support him. They give him pearls of wisdom, and not to really be there to tell him what to do, but to guide him if he has any sort of, to give him little hints or little bits of advice, sagely advice. I loved working with Dallas. We did work a lot on that, making sure that relationship was authentic, that it was real. We did bond. I mean, I love Dallas in real life too. He's kind of like my son as well, I feel. And it is something that it does, like you said, it runs deeper, and you see the reasons why it's deeper. And it's something that's brought to the forefront more so in the live action adaptation than you see, at least in book 1 for the animated series.
Yes, and also we all know that the original series had these influence of Asian cultures and indigenous cultures, but I feel like here it's fully realized, and we actually see this like so accurately represented. For both of you, why do you think that was so important, and how does it feel to be a part of a series that has so much representation for Asian and indigenous cultures?
It was one of the main reasons I did the project. I really loved the fact that I get to work with people like Paul, who I'd known and was a fan of for a long time. Ken Leung was the same way. I worked with him on Lost. Francois Chau as well. And it was just really important that we got to tell a story that featured the next generation of Asian American actors, and Asian Canadian actors, I should say. And so the fact that we were watching a generation rise, and having the story told not only by Asian Americans in front of the cameras but also behind them, I thought was really significant. And it touched me in a way and made me want to be a part of this project in a way that I otherwise wouldn't have.
Yes. Well, thank you both so much for chatting with me. I can't wait for more people to see this series, and I need book 2 as soon as possible so we can engage more. But thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
You too.